All right, let's talk about the future because believe it or not, the professional world of 2026, well, it's already here and it is seriously competitive. In this whole new landscape, your LinkedIn profile isn't just a resume anymore, it's your single most critical strategic asset. So today, we are going to crack the code on how to make it really work for you. So let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're just screaming into the wind? I mean, you've got years, maybe even decades of incredible experience. You've led teams, you've delivered results, but your profile, it just kind of sits there collecting digital dust. You know you're qualified, but for some reason, the right people, the right recruiters, they just aren't finding you. And here's the absolute key. This isn't about your qualifications. For millions of professionals out there right now, the issue isn't a lack of experience at all. It's a branding problem. It's a failure to translate that incredible history you have into the digital signals that recruiters, both the human ones and more importantly, the AI ones, are looking for right now. So let's dive into our first section here, the 2026 branding problem. Okay, what does this actually mean? It means the game has totally, fundamentally changed. We've shifted from an era where your resume and how long you worked somewhere were enough to one where trust and discovery are the new currency. Okay, this is a critical piece of the puzzle. Recruiters are now using AI that does way more than just scan for keywords. It's analyzing what's called your semantic story. Think of it as the overall narrative your profile, your posts, and even your comments tell about who you are, what you're an expert in, and the unique value you deliver. The algorithm is looking for a consistent, authentic brand, not just a random jumble of skills. Now, what I love about this slide is how clearly it shows the old way versus the new way. The legacy experience model, right, that relied on degrees and just stuffing keywords into your profile. But the 2026 branding model, that is all about niche authority, being found through intent-based search, and building real trust with authentic content. Your unique perspective is now your biggest differentiator. All right, that brings us to section 2, engineer your digital identity. We've defined the problem, so how do we actually fix it? This is where we get practical. We're going to start by engineering your identity, rebuilding the core, static parts of your profile so they tell the right story from the very first second someone lands on your page. First up, your headline. This is the most valuable real estate you have on LinkedIn, period. A generic title like marketing manager, which you see over there on the left, is practically invisible. But the 2026 formula on the right is all about combining your role with the quantifiable real-world value you deliver and your specific expertise. It's not just what you are, it's the outcome you create. That's the language that speaks to both humans and the AI. Next up, the About section. The old way of thinking was to just treat this like a copy and paste job from your resume summary. But the new, way more powerful approach is to see this as your prime real estate, to solve that branding problem, to build a genuine human connection through storytelling. And this breaks down that structure perfectly. Just think of it like a simple 3-act story. Act 1 is your hook. You have to state the problem you solve in the first 3 sentences before anyone has to click that dreaded See More button. Act 2 is your journey. What makes your perspective unique? And Act 3 is the invitation. What outcomes can people expect, and what do you want them to do next? And finally, for your experience section, the rule is so simple. Transform your duties into accomplishments. Don't just list what you were responsible for. Start every single bullet point with a powerful action verb and, whenever you can, quantify the result. So instead of managed a team, try led a team of 12 to increase revenue by 25%. See the difference? That's the language of impact. And that takes us right into section 3, broadcast your value. So with a solid profile foundation in place, it's time to get active. A great profile is passive, but an active brand is what gets you discovered. And that happens through consistent content and genuine engagement with your community. You know, the algorithm has gotten so much smarter. It doesn't reward those generic great post comments or simple likes anymore. Visibility today is driven by meaningful conversations. What does that mean? It means thoughtful comments, maybe 10 words or more, and especially post saves. That's a huge signal to the algorithm that your content is genuinely useful. So what should you actually be posting? Well, this data is fascinating and maybe not what you'd expect. While short-form video gets a ton of reach, it's actually multi-image carousels. You know, those PDF-style documents you can swipe through that get the highest average engagement. They're absolutely perfect for step-by-step educational content that really establishes you as an authority. But listen, don't sleep on video. Because while carousels get engagement, video gets shared. In fact, video content is shared a staggering 20 times more often than any other content format on the platform. It's the ultimate tool for telling a story and expanding your reach like crazy. Now, as you're building up this presence, there's one thing that holds it all together: trust. Which brings us to something that is absolutely non-negotiable for 2026: verification. That little blue or green check mark, it is not just a vanity metric anymore. In a world of AI profiles and misinformation, it is the single most powerful trust signal you can send. It tells recruiters and the algorithm that you are who you say you are. And the data on this is it's undeniable. Verified members get, on average, a 60% increase in profile views. 60%. That visibility boost alone is a total game changer. And that visibility translates directly into opportunity. Verified members also see a 30% jump in inbound connection requests and messages. In a really crowded market, verification basically moves you to the front of the line. Which brings us to our final section, your 95-minute weekly playbook. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds like a ton of work, but building a powerful brand isn't about volume, it's all about consistency. So let's walk through a super simple, sustainable routine that only takes about 95 minutes a week. And here it is, the entire playbook. Just notice the simple, repeatable pattern. On days 1, 3, and 5, you spend just 15 minutes creating a piece of content. On the other days, and for maybe 10 minutes over the weekend, you just focus on leaving those meaningful comments we talked about. That's it. 95 minutes total for the week. This is all about showing up consistently and adding value, which is so much more effective than just posting randomly once a month. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The crucial mental shift you have to make is from thinking of your LinkedIn profile as a static, digital resume, just an archive of your past, to seeing it as a dynamic trust and discovery engine that actively generates opportunities for your future. Which brings us to the final question you need to ask yourself, right now at this very moment. Is your profile just a museum of what you've done, or is it a finely tuned engine ready to power you toward your next great opportunity? The choice really is yours.